Kampala, Uganda. All right. Then again from Kampala, Uganda, I have a house full of data. Kampala saying hi, and we just can't wait to meet each and every one of you all over the world. And we've been here listening the whole day and just about to close it off with our trainer opportunity. He's going to give us some great information. And this is a gentleman that I've known for over 10 solid years. In fact, Facebook the other day reminded us about our friendship having made a decade. That is crazy. And this has been the most amazing decade of my life. And I'm so honored and humbled to be the one introducing this fine gentleman onto this call to be able to train us this evening. Now, this is none other than the gentleman that taught me everything that I know in this industry, and his name is Mark Morris. Now, he is a highly sought after motivational speaker. He's an 8-time best-selling author with his #1 best-selling book, The Unemployed Millionaire. He's coming to Africa very soon, and he will tell us more about that. But without any further ado, please allow me to welcome my brother, all the way from Dallas, Texas, Mark Morris. Did you make the call? Hello? You seem to be, wait, just give me a sec. All right, here you go. 3, 2, 1. Yes.
All right, there we go. Now I have the power to unmute. Amazing. Martin, thank you for the introduction. Excited to see everyone. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. Just got off another call with our service agents and who volunteer at all of the events that we do around the world. An amazing, amazing group of people, and just always feel so blessed to be able to spend time with them because they are really, I would say, the heartbeat of what we do in Viago. When we do, these events, there's a lot of magic at the events that we do, and the service agents who volunteer to put the whole event together is what really creates the magic. And so just off a call with them, and amazingly, I can't tell you how excited I am to be announcing a tour in Africa. So I am excited. I was just looking at the dates here. Going to be coming to Zimbabwe, flying in, arriving on the 18th of July. We'll do a Super Saturday on the 19th of July. We'll have some special events with our Golds and Above and Bronze and Above, a Results Only Club. We'll be taking my beautiful wife to Victoria Falls for a couple days, and then we'll be coming to Nairobi, Kenya, doing an event on July 24th. And then on the 25th, flying over to Kampala to do an event in Uganda, and a Super Saturday on the 26th before flying home. And so a 3-country tour across Africa. It has been a while since I have done something like that. And in pretty much every case, when I've done these tours, we have created a lot of momentum. And so I had asked some of the leaders to put together this call to really kind of prep the market really and talk about what's going to happen. And before I get into it, Martin giving the introduction, it's one of those things where the best students become the best mentors. And I am in absolute awe of Martin and what an incredible leader he is, the humbleness that he brings, the power that he brings, the knowledge that he brings, the work ethic that he brings. And, and this is what I want to do here is I want you to really imagine being able, getting through the struggles, making this business work, having someone learn from you and then surpass you as far as, a lot of their work ethic and knowledge and so forth. And that's just been the case for me over all these years. So many times we think we have to be such amazing superstars. And don't get me wrong, like I believe I'm really talented because I've been doing it for 30 years. I mean, if you do anything for 30 years, you're going to get good at it. It becomes second nature. Like if you play the piano for 30 years, you don't have to think about how to play a song. You just play it. It becomes second nature. It's like driving. How many of you have like ever driven home from work one day and you're not consciously thinking about driving? I mean, you've been driving for 20, 30, 40 years of your life. You just drive. You don't have to think about it. And so that's kind of how network marketing has become for me. You know, I've done it so long, I don't have to consciously, think about it. But it was definitely not always the case. There's nothing really special about me. It's just that I figured out the things that I needed to figure out. And then other people started learning from me. The same knowledge that I got from my mentor, I passed on to others. And then they took it and ran and became successful. I look at Martin and go, gosh, I mean, part of the reason why I look so talented is because he's so good and he's just on my team. Same thing with Efrosini. Efrosini was one of the best students ever. She just absorbed everything. I think about Martin, who would come to Nairobi. He didn't really have any financial benefit. He came to learn, and he'd take that information. He came back to Uganda and blew it up, right? Efrosini would fly around the world to come to training, soak in information, and then went out and built a team of hundreds of thousands of people. She's so talented in so many ways, so much more talented than I am. But she's on my team, so I look good. You look at Helen Mandashona and Helen Kathinji, it's the same thing. They absorbed information, they made it their own, they created their own success. And now Efrosini, she looks better because Helen Mandashona is on her team. Helen Kathinji makes me look good because she's on my team. And so what I want you to get, the reason why I'm telling you this story is I don't want you to feel like you have to be some dynamic superstar. I wasn't. I look like a dynamic superstar because I did so much work and built enough of a team to find amazing leaders who popped up in my organization. I remember we had someone who popped up in Martin's organization, and I looked in my, binary, the levels. He was level, I think it was 448 levels deep. 448 levels deep, and built a team of thousands and thousands of people. He was 448 levels deep. I had no idea who he was. I just it's like you almost feel lucky. Some of you are going to have the exact same thing happen in your organization. If you will just do the work, if you'll become a great student and commit to learning the things that you need to learn, pass them on to people who join your organization, you'll have what we call the imposter syndrome. I had the imposter syndrome for years because I was 24, living at home with my mom. I was working as a waiter at a steakhouse restaurant. Nothing dynamic about me at all. But I did the work, and because I did so much work, I had amazing people in my group who were way more talented than I was. They popped up in my organization, and it made me look even better. And I felt like a fraud. Like, all these people think I'm an amazing leader. The truth is, I just work hard. And that was the case. Like, I wasn't a dynamic speaker. I wasn't the guy on stage. I had people in my organization who were the speakers and trainers, and I didn't. I just outworked everyone. I invited more people. I did more presentations. So because I did the most presentations, I got rejected the most, but also signed up the most. And so because I signed up the most, I also got the most duplication. People want to know, what's the secret to having amazing duplication? Well, yes, you have to do all the leadership stuff to get new people started, get into their warm market, help them make a list, help them invite, all that kind of stuff, right? I did all those things, but it wasn't because I was so talented. I just outworked everyone. And if you outwork everyone, like Martin, in getting started, Martin was way more talented than I was when I first got started in network marketing, right? On a leadership level, he was on a much higher level than I was when I got started. But, what made him an absolute superstar wasn't because of his talent necessarily in the beginning. He has all the talent now. It's because he outworked everyone. That's the key. If you can just outwork everyone, you're going to make it work. So, I just want to say like how amazingly blessed I feel to have these leaders who are really helping organize this tour. So Efrosini Adamides, Martin Deho, Helen Kathinji, Helen Mandashona. There's many other leaders on the team, but you are the ones who we kind of created a group together and decided to plan this tour. And so what does the tour mean? Like, I'm going to be coming to your markets, and I don't want to make this about, me edifying myself or anything. It could be anyone, right? It could be Jesse McPherson. It could be Muzaffar. It could be any other leader. It could be Eric Gersbowski, whoever it is. But what happens is when someone else comes to your market, there's a different energy. And this is one of the things that we've seen create an explosion in growth is having another leader come to your market, right? So I think I'm a really talented leader at this point, right? And I think about, working with Eric Gersbowski. So Eric is an amazingly talented leader. And as good as he is, he can create a lot of growth in his market. And then someone else comes to his market and it blows up, because it's just a different energy, right? And so I'm in Dallas, right? I'm normal in Dallas, right? And I could have Eric Gersbowski or whoever it may be. It could be Martin come to Dallas. They're going to get more out of Martin than they will for me, even though maybe I'm making more money than Martin. I'm going to have way more growth, and I'm going to create more momentum by having Martin come to my market than just me being in my market. And so it is just, sometimes there's things that you logically can't explain very well. This is one of those things. You got to just trust me that having someone else come into your market can be amazingly powerful. So I'm going to come into your market, and I want to prepare you, because here's what I know is true. When I come out of the market, I'm going to be able to say some things and to create some energy that will create a lot of growth after I leave, okay? And I need to give you a big, and I just know that not because there's anything special about me, just because I've been doing it for so long. And it's not me, it's the same with any of the other leaders who are doing these tours, right? I've seen Martin, build a big team in Uganda and then fly over to Ghana and start working in Ghana and create an explosion in Ghana. I've seen him do it in other countries as well, right? There's just something different energetically when someone comes into your market. People listen and they absorb things differently, and it creates a lot of growth. So I want to prepare you for the growth, and there's something that I want to share with you that was a catalyst to turning me from an amateur to a professional in network marketing. This is something that you want to probably take notes on. This is one of the most important things that I can tell you to really prepare you for this, okay? And it's the difference between an amateur and a professional. I'm going to tell you a story. So my career in network marketing, I was the kind of person who always waited for a recruiting event, okay? So there would be a weekly meeting, a presentation on Tuesday night or Thursday night, and I would use that recruiting event to invite, or if there was a special phone call, back before we had Zooms, we used to do conference calls where you just call in, and that was a recruiting event, and I would recruit to the recruiting event. And then I remember, and that was my career in network marketing, right? A lot of you know, it took me 5 years to get to a full-time income. And the thing that I'm telling you right now is what allowed me to go from struggling for 5 years to taking this philosophy that I'm about to share with you and allowing me to get full-time, create momentum, really step into my leadership, okay? When I met my mentor, we started doing presentations on, I think it was Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. It was started on Tuesday nights, and then we did Tuesday and Thursday. And I would invite people to Tuesdays, and then we opened up Thursdays, and it was ooh, now I have 2 recruiting events. And so I'd invite people to Tuesdays and I'd invite people to Thursdays. And then what my mentor, he shared this concept with me. And here's what he said, was what an amateur does, an amateur waits for a recruiting event to happen. A professional creates a recruiting event, okay? The amateur waits for a recruiting event. The professional creates a recruiting event, okay? What my mentor said is you have to, if you want to create, if you wait for the recruiting event, let's say we do a meeting once a week, right? And that's your recruiting event. you only have an opportunity to recruit during that recruiting event. He said, you have to go out and create a recruiting event, meaning go do a presentation to someone else and show them the business and believe that you're good enough to recruit yourself. And even if they don't enroll, you can have the recruiting event be the follow-up. But he said, when you do this, when you create the recruiting event, when you do the presentation, when you show a video, whatever it may be, then you sign them up. And then they invite to the recruiting event. So the difference is inviting to recruit. Okay, let me type it in the chat. Okay, here's what an amateur does. Amateur is invite to recruit. Okay, pro, recruit to invite. Okay, what do I mean by this? I just put it in the chat. So an amateur invites someone to recruit them to this event. So if you have one big event per week, you invite everyone you can to that. And that's your only recruiting event throughout the week. And so let's say you invite 10 people and 3 sign up, or let's say 5 sign up. Well, now you have 5 people in your business and you're teaching everyone to wait until next week. So those 5 have to wait a week to get to the next event. This is how you grow by addition. The way you grow by multiplication is you recruit to invite. So let's say there's a presentation on Thursday night. Well, I'm going to go recruit as many people as I possibly can between now and Thursday. And I have all these new people who are now in the business, and I get all of the new recruits to invite to Thursday, right? And as soon as Thursday happens, now I teach everyone to recruit as much as we can between now and next Thursday, so that next Thursday comes, we have a bunch of new recruits and a bunch of people that we've invited to that event on Thursday. This is how you create momentum. This is how you create a full-time income. This is how you become a professional. So the warning that I'm giving you right now, please listen. This is what people do. Even though I say, like, I give the strongest coaching I possibly can, some people will still wait. It's like, all right, Matt's coming to Harare. As soon as Matt gets here, I'm going to invite my butt off. I'm going to invite like I've never invited, so that when we do a presentation on July 18th, then I'm going to have more prospects there than anyone else. And that's great, but you've missed it. You've totally missed it. Here's what a leader will do, is you use this impending event to recruit as hard as you possibly can, so that instead of having, let's say you had 20 guests at this event. All right, 20 show up, maybe you sign up 10. So now when I leave, you have 10 people on your group, right? And that's kind of a best case scenario if someone gets 20 prospects to an event, right? And 10 sign up. Now you have a group of 10 after I leave. This is what an amateur does. Here's what a pro does. This is how I've seen people change their life financially. Martin's been part of this. Afrosini's been part of this. I know Helen Mandashona, Helen Kathinji, like a lot of them have experienced exactly what I'm telling you, and they can tell you it's the God's honest truth. Between now and this event, okay, whether you're in Zimbabwe, whether you're in Nairobi, whether you're in Kampala, is you start blitzing now. You go recruit as many people as you possibly can, so that when I get there, it's not 20 prospects that you have on your team. You got 20 to 40 members on your team, brand ambassadors on your team. And those 20 to 40 brand ambassadors on your team, they're all inviting 10 people. So that when I leave, not only did you have a big team by the time I got there, when I left, you've got a big team to duplicate. Okay. This is how you create magic. And some of you are new, some of you have heard the story, but I can tell you this with such certainty. Hopefully you get, zero doubt on this, total certainty. I know what's going to happen. I can predict the future. We're going to create huge momentum. We will be, I believe, the fastest growing network marketing company in Africa by far, right? Just from doing these tours. And I just know it because I've experienced it. Okay. Those of you who wait until I get there to start inviting like crazy, it's just not going to work very well. And I know it because of experience. Like there's some things, like as a parent, how many of you are parents? Right? If you're a parent, there's some things that it's like you don't necessarily learn out of a book. You just know your child. You know what like when a baby is crying, you know what to do with the baby. Like you just know things because you've experienced it, not because it's necessarily logical. This is one of those things I just know because I know. Okay. And so that is the big thing that I want to talk about, is just getting into action now, taking action now, right? And I could go on and on, but I think the key is that now is really the time for Africa. And I want to talk a little bit more about the difference between an amateur and a professional. So I've already given you the first thing is, what was the first thing? An amateur invites to recruit, a pro recruits to invite. And see, all these years ago, 24 years ago, I guess it was, when my mentor gave me this advice, it was intimidating for me because I was always the person who waited for a recruiting event. And when I finally stepped out on faith and I just decided, you know what, I'm good enough to go recruit people on my own without waiting for a recruiting event, it's when things shifted for me. Everything changed because I started doing 3 to 5 presentations a day. And this is the difference between an amateur and a professional. Like if you want to go full time, the formula for going full time and going pro is 3 presentations a day. And if you are really bad at doing 3 presentations a day and you do it anyway, you know what happens? You get good. Like you may be terrible at playing the piano right now, but if you practice the piano for 3 hours a day, every day, you're going to get good. It's impossible not to get good if you follow the system of learning how to play the piano. It's the same thing in Viago. If you do this for 2-3 hours a day, it doesn't take an hour to do a presentation, but if you do 3 presentations a day, even if you're just playing a video for someone, right? If you do that 3 times a day, my dogs are getting fired up. Hold on. All right. Dog's going crazy, getting fired up. Okay. If you do 3 presentations a day, you're going to get ridiculously good, even if you're not good right now. And so what I want you to do is just reach down inside and like have that confidence that you can do it. And I remember like when my mentor was kind of sharing this with me, he's like, how do you have confidence when you don't feel like you have any confidence? Sometimes you just have to reach down and source confidence. How do you have belief in yourself? Sometimes you got to just reach down and source belief. And just believe when you don't necessarily have a reason to believe, right? So reach down and source that belief. Reach down and source that confidence, okay? Now, what else is, what an amateur does is they'll look at the problem and think of the problem as a reason not to succeed. What a professional will do is look at whatever the problem is and look at that as a reason to succeed. Okay. Here's what a professional does. And I want you to write this down. The objection is the benefit. Make the objection the benefit. Okay. Someone write that in the chat. Make the objection the benefit. So I'm going to give you an example. In Africa, okay, right now, because we don't have thousands and thousands of people in Africa, there's not a lot of trips in Africa. So what an amateur will do is say, once there's a lot of trips in Africa, then I'll be able to take a lot of action. And this is what an amateur does. They're always waiting for something to be perfect before taking action. Now, here's my coaching. Never going to be perfect. I've been doing network marketing for 30 years of my life. I've had a lot of businesses inside and outside of network marketing. It's never perfect, ever. And if you wait for things to be perfect or near perfect, They're never going to be there, so you never actually take any action. So what a professional does is they say, oh, someone's objection is we don't have a lot of trips. And you go, that's exactly why I'm so excited. Because right now is the leadership development phase. This is the leadership launch of Viago in Africa. Of course, we don't have a lot of trips because there's so few people. If you go ask 100 people on the streets of Kampala, have you heard of Viago? 100 out of 100 are going to say, no, what's that? And it's the same in almost every city across Africa right now. Go ask 100 people if they've heard of Viago. 100 out of 100 are going to say no. That's why this is an opportunity right now. So right now, in this leadership launch, it's a game of capturing market share. Someone's going to capture market share. It might as well be us. We'll have thousands of members on the team. Eventually, we'll have lots of trips. But my attitude is if I wait for the trips to be here, I'm too late. So what did I just do? I made the objection the benefit. Okay, someone doesn't have the money, or as an example, this is something I've heard over the years, and you know, it's $279. It's a lot of money in Kenya. Exactly. That's why I'm so excited about this. Whatever the objection is, exactly. That's why I'm so excited about this, because all you have to do is get to this many people on your team and you're earning a full-time income. Right? Compare that to the opportunity in America, where in order to earn a full-time income, I mean, to make $5,000 a month, you're going to have, you know, 500 people on your team. Here, you can get 50 people on your team and you're making, you know, for some people, a full-time income, right? So what did I just do? I made the objection the reason, right? I don't have the time. That's exactly why I thought this would be perfect for you, because just like me, what I saw in this was, man, I'm already working another job. I'm already struggling to make ends meet. And I just realized if I don't make some time to build a financial future for myself, to create some residual income, I'll never have any time. Okay, so what did I do? I made the objection the benefit. Okay, so whatever the objection may be, there's always a benefit if you look for it. Okay, what's the other thing? Like, people don't travel. I don't travel. That's exactly why I thought you would be perfect for this, because I know you want to go see the world just like I want to go see the world. And I just realized if I don't, I'm going to miss out on seeing the world the rest of my life if I don't create some residual income that allows me the income to actually go travel. So you want to travel, right? Yes, let's get you started. Okay. Someone doesn't have the money. That's the biggest reason why they need to do this. And I'm not saying like right off the bat, like I don't want to make them wrong. I don't want to insult someone. I want to be humble, but I want to be confident and bold, right? And so this is what a leader does. And so I'm going to turn it back to Martin here in a little bit. And Martin, I'd love for you to just kind of share your experience of us having done this before and what's happened because of it. I can say it, but it's another thing for Martin to, you know, give his experience on it. I'm just telling you, and I'm going to be very real with you, right? So I look at my numbers. I was just looking last night and I was reviewing my numbers this morning. I track my numbers in Viago almost every day. Some days I miss, but almost every day I create a spreadsheet and it's, you know, active left, active right. And I got the day of the month. And at the end of the month, I have like, what was the total at the end, left team, total on the right team. Every month since December, every month, those active numbers have gone up. They're higher and higher and higher. And they're not growing as fast as I want them to. Okay. And it's always the case, no matter how fast it's growing, we always want it to grow faster, right? But it's not growing as fast as I want. Well, this is a brand new company, right? We just launched, there's been website issues and back office issues, and most of those issues are now being worked out. And so what I know is going to happen is if I just keep putting effort in and putting effort in and putting effort in, eventually we hit an inflection point and momentum takes off. See, there's 4 levels, 4 cycles of every network marketing company, right? Formulation, concentration, momentum, and then stability. So formulation is where we are right now. This is where the website's getting formulated. The back office is getting formulated. We're integrating payment providers and the e-wallet solutions, and all these things are having to be formulated. It's the hardest part. The hardest point of any network marketing company is the formulation. This is where you're attracting the leaders who get committed to building market share, to saying, you know what, even though everything's not perfect, I see where the company's headed. I'm going to build a foundation. Right now, this is our leadership foundation phase. Now, what will happen over the next, I communicate with Eddie and Isaac and all this, like all those bugs and kinks are being worked out, right? So over the next, I think 30 to 60 days, we start moving into the concentration phase. See, the concentration phase is where the back office works fine. The website works fine. You don't have quite as many issues as that we've had in the formulation phase. And then it goes from just a pure growth standpoint, right? Where it's not momentum. It's not like you're having exponential growth, but now you start to get a lot of leaders in your market who are hitting diamond. They're hitting blue diamond. They're making 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, right? And it becomes self-evident. Self-evident, like things are smooth, we're growing consistently, and everyone gets, oh my gosh, Martin's making $10,000 a month in residual income plus another $10,000 a month, and up, like he's making $20,000 a month in Uganda, which is a lot more money than it is in the US, as an example. And this is where the belief kicks in. Momentum is created through one word. One word is just belief. It becomes self-evident, and all of a sudden, all the naysayers, all the doubters, all the people who are like, but there's not enough trips, but this and that, they all come back and they're like, I'm in. So 2 things happen. Number 1, your enrollment ratio goes up dramatically. So instead of signing up 1 out of every 5 people you show it to, now you're signing up 2 or 3 out of every 5 people that you show it to. So that's one thing that happens at the end of concentration. Your enrollment ratio goes up significantly. It will basically, double, right? And so now the people who are putting an effort are having more success. And the other thing that happens is not just the enrollment ratio goes up, the duplication ratio goes up. The people who get in, they're getting in and they see proof of massive success. Right now in the formulation phase, listen, people are joining, but they're not seeing people making $10,000, $20,000 a month in their market. Right? I mean, Martin's doing really well. He's making great money, full-time income. Helen Mandashona's kicking butt. Helen Kathinji's making great money. Efrosini's crushing it, right? But it's not like in your market. They're not like seeing and shaking hands with people, right, who are making big money. And what happens is they see, and it's like, oh my God, what I just joined is the best thing ever. They go take massive action. This is what creates momentum. Now, I don't know how far away we are from momentum, but I believe what's going to happen with this tour is we're going to have a lot of growth coming into this tour between now and July 18th and 19th for Zimbabwe, the 23rd or 24th for Kenya, the 25th and 26th for Uganda. And why am I doing these markets? Because it's where we're seeing the most growth. Like, you look at Zim and Uganda. That's why I'm doing 2 Saturdays in those markets, because those are the markets they're growing the most in Africa. The third market is Kenya. And so that's why I'm hitting these 3 markets. Okay. And here's, I can't give exacts. I can predict the future. I can't predict it exactly. We're going to have a lot of growth coming into this. You're going to have a lot of people in your market who, if you don't call them and you don't recruit them now, someone else is going to recruit them now. And when I come to the market, they're going to have a big team at these events. And if you don't take action, I've seen this over and over and over. Please understand me. This I know to be true. If you don't go take action now, there's going to be people you know who end up on someone else's team building a big group. And I'm telling you, it gives you a stomach ache. Okay. And so again, I don't know how fast the growth is. I don't know exact numbers, but we're going to have a lot of growth coming into this event, and we're going to have a lot of growth coming out of this event. Does it mean we go into full on momentum? And what do I say when full on momentum is? This is where we go from, you know, having like 400 or 500 people in Uganda to 4,000 to 5,000 within a few months. Efrosini has experienced, all the leaders who I've mentioned have all experienced this. Efrosini was a great example. We launched a market with our previous company. We launched Cyprus. And Efrosini was one of the leaders who said, I know we don't have we didn't even have a booking engine. We had no trips and no booking engine, but we're going to have a booking engine. And so eventually the booking engine came. There was no trips or anything, but they got excited about the vision, and they put in 6,000 people in 6 months or 5 months, 6,000 people in 5 months in one market. I don't know how fast that's going to happen in your market, but it can happen over the next few months. By the end of the year, there could be 5,000 or more people in your market. You have to decide today, how much of that market share do you want to capture for yourself versus give to someone else? Because if you don't take it yourself, it's not like it's opportunity doesn't pass you by. It just goes to someone else. So if you don't take the opportunity, you just give it to someone else. So if there were ever a time to take action now, that time would be right now. Blitz hard now. Get unreasonable with your efforts now, so that come July, you have a big team that has a big explosion, and you finish the year. Christmas comes this year. If you have children, your Christmas is going to be very different. Your New Year's coming into next year is going to be very different, where you don't have to worry about money anymore, where you can buy all the gifts that you want to buy, all the gifts that you haven't been able to. I remember the first time I made it, like I was earning a 6-figure income. I didn't have kids at the time, but I had always struggled buying presents for my family because I was always so broke. And I remember the first Christmas. I've never told this story. I remember the first Christmas where I could actually afford to buy presents for my family. I had the Tahoe, my Tahoe that wasn't the nicest Tahoe, but I had the thing loaded up, loaded up with presents that I had never, I guess there's a reason I've never told this story. I had it loaded, just so many, like overflowing with presents. And that for me was worth more than the money, was being able to finally be able to give my mom the Christmas she deserved, to buy her the things that like she didn't care. Like she loved it, but it was like, man, being able to do that for my family was an awesome experience. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to not have to worry about money and just buy things for people that they deserve because you love them. And some of you are going to take action today, and that'll be your reality come Christmas. So before I tear up too much, I'm going to turn it back over to Martin. Martin, if you don't mind, finish up and just what does this tour mean?
Wow, 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 wow. Everyone in the room literally is, oh my goodness. For the first time ever in the last 10 years, I've never had this story, number one, and I've never seen Matt's tears, like really. Like he's always been there, strong one. I have got into times when I have really literally broken down and reached out to him and stuff. but he's actually showed me how strong he's been. But getting to see this, obviously, he's coming from a place of love, and he's coming out to literally show us what we have our hands on. So it's upon us. It's really about us right now making that decision to go ahead and change our lives forever, because this really gets me fired up, because almost all of us, I don't know where you are in this call and what you've been going through, but all of us have been going through a lot. Yes, those untold stories that we don't even, we never say such stories, but I know deep down each and every one of us has gone through a phase that we probably will tell at some point. And it's not until you get to a level where you've worked so hard and going to change your life in a very big way that you get to remember and get to feel like that. I know most of you are new in this industry and you probably are thinking, okay, what is that exactly? But there's lots and lots, and truly speaking, this has really inspired me, because we all have a story that we haven't even told yet. We have lots of things that we haven't told, but here is an opportunity that we have to either take it upon us and go ahead and change our lives, or we sit down and watch other people do it. And we are really so blessed to have you, Matt, and to have you come over to Africa at these early stages of the company really getting started. And we don't take this for granted, because I have seen you come over to Africa, and every single time you have come to Africa, there's been tremendous growth. And I know this is going to happen again, but it is, if you decide, you who is on the call, even the ones that are watching the recorded version, if you decide right now to work harder than you ever have, this will be the moment. The moment he gets here, and lots of people who come to presentations, in most cases, they come to see if this is real. And when they get there and see lots of other people in the room, as opposed to you getting out there and doing a one-on-one, they get to see the synergy alone, the energy in the room. That is what mostly closes people. So just get ready to explore your business during this period. I mean, coming to 3 countries is not an easy thing. To come all the way, fly into Zimbabwe, then Kenya, then Uganda. That is, I mean, this is the greatest opportunity that we could ever have. And it is those people that will utilize this chance to go ahead and put in the work right now. We have about a month, but this month will change your entire 2025 if you decide to make it happen. And the time is now, I believe. See, there's no more time. There's no time. See, you change this by July all the way to December, and again, like Mark says, your life will be different. So, I mean, thank you so much. I don't know if there's anything that I can add, because you've said it all. I don't even want to spoil it. And we truly appreciate you, Matt. Like, really and truly appreciate you. We can't thank you enough, and we can't wait to see you. And we will do what we can. We will do everything within our, whatever we can to at least make this happen. And we have about a month plus to go for your visit. And if we don't do this, obviously it is us that get to lose out. And by the way, just so you know, he is spending his own money to come over to Africa to support us. Like, he is literally coming to support us. Now, if you do not take part, if you do not play your part, then you're losing out. So with that said, thank you so much, and thanks to each and every one of you that has jumped onto this call, and to the ones that are watching the recording. Just so you know, it is right now that you get to start. Not Monday, not 1st of July, but right now. Recruiting to invite. So thank you so much, and have a blessed night, and yeah, may God bless.